I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but this is actually the Loaded Box Podcast episode 199. So, Andrew, we almost had you on for episode 200. So I want to start it since it is 199. It's still a cool number. What's your favorite moment in Loaded Box Podcast history of being with us?
My favorite moment in Loaded Box Podcast history, man. Probably the first time I was ever on a podcast was with you guys, and we did a mock draft, I think before the 2017 draft.
Yeah.
And I think I mocked, it was like McCaffrey I had McCaffrey go into the Jaguars.
That's what it was? That's your favorite moment?
Something like that. Which is one of the moments I remember specifically.
DJ, save us here. What's your favorite moment?
When we discovered that he was Andrew Underscore, really. We created a nickname for him, and it's lived on in history.
No, it has. That's the name of my podcast. I call it the Underscore Podcast.
Damn it, Andrew, you ruined my joke, and I cracked my beer early. Let's get loaded, because this is the Loaded Box Podcast.
Where we never finish first because we finish last.
DJ comes through and just saves it with that clip. That was an excellent save there with that beer. And I can't believe you're drinking, DJ. Just getting off of a bachelor party this weekend? What the hell? How are you still drinking?
I'm an alcoholic.
You're an alcoholic under control.
We know.
Nice. Well, we'll probably get into a little bit more of that, but I do want to introduce our guest because we're one of our favorite guests that we have, and as he kind of alluded to, it's Andrew Erickson. Andrew, can you please explain to the new listeners that haven't listened and had you on our podcast before, can you explain to them why we call you Underscore and then conveniently where they can find your work?
Yeah, so if you actually go to Twitter and you search at Andrew Erickson, you actually won't find me because, Ben, that's not my Twitter handle. It's at Andrew Erickson _
There it is.
At the end, just to point out to the listeners there so that they don't get lost on Twitter, because that's an easy place to get lost.
Thank you. And then you kind of already broke the news, but you have your own fantasy football podcast, correct?
Yep, yeah, I just started it up this year with Gridiron Experts, so it's called the Underscore Podcast, where, I use the underscore to my advantage, and I try to get people on the show that have underscores in their names. So if you're not on the show, that's why.
That is fantastic. And I have to ask this on behalf of DJ and myself. When are the residuals going to start coming in? Because I feel like we're the first people that called you Underscore, and now you're using it for your own podcast name.
Yeah, no, once we hit a profitable margin, you guys will be getting some stuff sent. So no worries.
What percentage are you trying to get here, DJ?
I want 50.
DJ will take 50. I'll take 50. Thanks, man. Well, thank you very much for having us on, for coming on to our podcast, Andrew. We love having you on, and today we are going to be playing the fantasy football version of Would You Rather, and this week is going to be the running back edition. But basically, we're pairing two running backs up against each other that have fairly different ADPs, but then we're all going to give our pick as to who we'd rather have at that current ADP and why. But since we have Mr. Underscore on, we've got to stick to the brand. We've got to play another game with our guest, which usually isn't relevant to what we're doing, but we have to do it. That's the brand. And since we enjoyed playing this particular game with Andrew last year, we had to bring it back for year 2. So we'll be having our second annual NFL-related spelling bee between DJ and Underscore, with me serving as your host. Since it's the week of the Scripps National Spelling Bee, we have to take something like that's relatively boring with big and long words that kids have to spell, and we're going to put our NFL twist on it to make it actually exciting and relevant to something that we care about. So we'll get to that. I can tell by the look on Andrew's face. He's really nervous. It's a good thing he peed before this podcast, otherwise he'd be peeing a little bit. But before we get there, should we crack into this Would You Rather running back? You ready?
Let's do it. Anything to put off trying to spell Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's go.
I love that you remembered one of your words from last year.
And I still pretty sure I still don't know how to spell it.
I can't remember it either. Fuck it.
I thought that was going to be your favorrait moment when I asked you what your favorite moment was. I thought you were going to just go, the spelling bee.
That was definitely one of them I was thinking about was Jimmy Garoppolo and trying to spell his last name.
That would have been the perfect answer. What's your favorite moment? Well, trying to spell Jimmy Garoppolo. That would have been the end-all, be-all answer. But we'll get to that. Let's start with round one of the actual ADP game, and the matchup. We'll go to Andrew first on this one. You can have your pick between James Conner at pick 10 in the first round, or Kerryon Johnson, who's currently going as the 5th pick in the 4th round.
Yeah, so for this one, I'm going to go with Kerryon Johnson in the 3rd round. I prefer. You want me to just go into it first? My reasoning.
Yeah,
cool. So basically, I like the offensive coordinator hire for Kerryon Johnson. So they're bringing in Darrell Bevel, who is a guy that's just done a lot in terms of like rushing. That's where he's really done his bread and butter in the NFL. He's been an offensive coordinator, for a long time. 12 years he has experience being an OC. And, if you average out all of his teams, those offenses, they've all, the average rank in terms of rushing was 10th.
Nice.
So he's a guy that definitely leans more on the run than the pass. And I think that, based on the depth chart, there is no LeGarrette Blount anymore. So Thank God for that. So there's no more, butt buddy thing going on with Matt Patricia and LeGarrette Blount and, him getting all the carries on the goal line when it literally made no sense.
I hated that.
And so they're really the backfield is filled with guys like, Theo Riddick is there, who's like just a, very poor man's version of like a James White. And then CJ Anderson, who really, was out of the league for, most of last year. And then, was able to get the opportunity to run behind, the best, PFF's highest graded offensive line last year.
Right.
And obviously looked good as a running back there. So I just don't think that in terms of, the way that I think he has the best chance to take on a 3-down, role in the Lions offense. I also like the fact that they're moving Frank Ragnow, the center, or he played guard last year, but he was drafted as a center. They're moving him back over to center. And we've seen before, like, with center changes that it can really help impact the offense as a whole, especially with the running game. I remember just like off the top of my head, it was when the Falcons ended up getting Alex Mack from the Browns. And it just like totally like revamped their entire running game, from the center, because it was kind of working its way out. And then they drafted a guy like TJ Hawkinson. So a guy who, again, is I don't want to label him as a blocking tight end, but the dude excels,
right.
At blocking. And that's just another thing that I think that will really help Kerryon Johnson. And then kind of on the downside with James Conner, it's less, I think that he has more competition. Jalen Samuels was good last year when he got the opportunity to play. They drafted Benny Snell, which was, not huge draft capital, but still a guy that kind of profiles as like a in between the tackles type of grinder, which, the Steelers offense kind of just throws guys in. And James Conner had to deal with, a lot of injuries last year. And
right.
I don't know. At the prices, I think that, I could see them probably finishing pretty similar to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, I'll take the guy that I get later in the draft.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Andrew Underscore is a bit of a gym rat. He's secretly jacked. No one knows this. Well, people know it, but like you wouldn't tell on a podcast because you can only hear a voice. Who puts away more calories in a day, you or CJ Anderson?
Oh, man, it's definitely got to be C.J. Anderson. I changed up my diet a little bit. I do, like, intermittent fasting, so, like, I don't eat as much as I used to. And, yeah, it's definitely C.J. Anderson.
Well, DJ's been eating a lot. DJ, I don't know if you've seen DJ in a while, Underscore, but DJ is just dad bod. Like, he has just been putting away beers, putting away, like, brats. Like, he is just loading up right now. So he's trying to catch you on that caloric intake. But, DJ, who do you have in this running back debate?
What's it called when you go to, like, the airport and you don't, like, check your bags? But you, like, take them on?
Like pre-TSA?
Like when you bring them onto the airplane, the bags. What do they call that?
Oh, carry-on.
Carry on. There you go.
I thought you were going another way. I totally blew that.
Yeah, you did. You fucking suck. Yeah, I had to go with carry-on, too, for multiple reasons. I did a little math exercise here. So carry-on did not play the last 6 games of the season. He scored 139.4 points in all the games up to that. So that was 10 games. So if you take his average over those 10 games, it's 13.94. You add that to the last 6 that he missed, and he would have ended up as running back 13.
Nice.
So you project that over the whole season. If he would have actually ended up with that, this guy's probably going 2nd round this year, somewhere in that area. So 100% taking him. And then you added the Darrell Bevel as our coordinator, who's much more run-oriented than Jim Bob Cooter, so I don't even need to go into that. The second point I was going to make, again, Andrew Underscore fucking stole it, but I was going to say with the emergence of Jalen Samuels, I'm a little bit more worried about the split backfield with James Conner. So I think actually Kerryon will outscore Conner this year.
Ooh, I like that.
I will not have James Conner on any one of my teams.
Yeah, I'm avoiding him everywhere. I actually have him, so it's weird. So last year I had a league where basically I spent all my fab money on James Conner week 1. And it's a league where it was because you couldn't pick up anybody, and it was after like Le'Veon Bell's whole thing, so you couldn't make any transactions till after week 1. So he was available, after week 1. And I was like, "Fuck it, I'm spending all my fab on James Conner," which ended up, being a good deal. And the way that the league works is you can only keep guys, within you can keep guys outside the top 2 rounds. So James Conner is a guy, based on ADP, is a guy I'm going to end up pretty much keeping on that team. But he's a guy that, literally, I'm looking to move.
You can move him,
right away. But I'm just going to, keep him because of his value is the highest spending player on the roster. But then I'm like, hey, you want, Joe Mixon? I'll trade you James Conner, Joe Mixon straight up.
Absolutely.
Cook, straight up. I'll trade James Conner straight up for any of those other kind of, top-tier running backs. Probably, maybe not Todd Gurley. I don't know how I feel about him.
Yeah,
but,
tread lightly there. Nice. You guys literally said everything that I was going to say. It's a clean sweep. I'm also taking Kerryon Johnson, so I won't regurgitate everything you said. But more importantly, I want to get into the first round of the Spelling Bee. I mean, that's what I'm here for. I'm here. DJ's here to drink. I'm here to host a Spelling Bee. And Andrew _ is here to tell us about his caloric intake. So with that, are you guys ready for this? This is the first round. The category is 2019 NFL Draft, and I've got DJ leading it off. DJ, are you listening?
Let's go.
Okay, well, let me give you a little bit of background first. First round words are worth 5 points. Second, 10 points. Third, 15 points. And the fourth round, you're going to wager your points. So I'll keep score here. I should have definitely had you guys get paper and pen before we started. So if at some point you might be able to, actually, I'm going to ad lib it. You don't need paper and pen. I'm going to make it more not visual because this is a podcast. Damn it, you can't have people write something, Ben. So first word, DJ. I'm going to give you the word and I'm going to say it in a sentence. So listen closely. Your word is Hawkinson. The Detroit Lions used the number 8 pick in the 2019 NFL Draft on Iowa tight end TJ Hawkinson, despite the fact that Matthew Stafford hasn't targeted a tight end since 2014. DJ is hand spelling it as we speak.
All right, Hawkinson, as in looks like a child molester?
Correct.
Hawkinson? Okay, Hawkinson. Hockenson. Hawkinson.
DJ Primo has 5 points. Congratulations. Congratulations on that. Let me chalk you up for 5 points, and we'll move on to underscore's first word. Yours is N'Keal. And in the sentence, it is the New England Patriots selected N'Keal Harry out of Arizona State with the last pick in the first round of April's draft. N'Keal Harry will have the opportunity to play his entire career with quarterback Tom Brady, since Brady will never retire.
All right. So it's gonna be N, and then the little apostrophe thing, Keal.
5 points for underscore. I thought maybe the little apostrophe thing was going to throw you off, but you
mess him up.
You crushed it. So you're in the clear. So after round 1, it's 5-5. So we'll get back to round 2, but before we do that, let's do round 2 of the ADP game, which is Dalvin Cook, who's currently going as the 3rd pick in the 2nd round, or Tariq Cohen, who's currently going as the 2nd pick in the 5th round. We'll have DJ lead this one off.
All right, you want me to go?
That's what leadoff means.
In my opinion, this is not even close. I don't think this can be a serious question. Even if Cook were to finish higher, I know people are higher than him. You're getting Cohen 3 rounds later, and this guy finished in PPR as RB number 11 last year. He's pretty much the fuel in which the Bears' offense runs on, because Mr. Trubisky isn't the answer. Nagy will find ways to get him the ball because of how dynamic he is. And you, Ben, being a guy who loves McCaffrey, should be a guy who also loves Cohen.
I do.
Yeah, he's smaller and everything, and he's not exactly Christian McCaffrey, but he's used very similar. Also, I just don't trust this Vikings offense and this Vikings team. As I've said before, this window is closed. Maybe Cook will play decently just because he did look explosive at the end of last year. But if I'm going 3 rounds later with a guy who finished as RB11, 100% taking Tarik Cohen.
The 180 that you have completely went to with your Mitch Trubisky thing is just mind blowing. I can't even take you serious anymore, just because you were such on that train, and now you've fallen off. Like, you don't even care what happens anymore.
No, I know. I mean, I just like to be right, and I'm just going to be right all the time. That's what I do.
Fair enough. So you got Cohen _. Who do you like in this one?
Yeah, no, I think it's not Cohen, honestly. No, I think it's Cook, and I don't think it's actually close.
Yeah.
I think that you look at these two players, and, what I'm looking for, Dalvin Cook in the second round, I'm looking for a running back that can win my league. And Dalvin Cook has that potential. I mean, Tarik Cohen, obviously, you're getting him later. You're getting him more at a value. And like you said, yeah, he finished as the RB11 in PPR. But how many weeks did he have that probably killed you last year? And how did you know what weeks to play
when
him?
It was going to happen.
He's one of those guys like a James White where, if you can project, I knew Mitchell Trubisky was going to throw 6 touchdowns against Tampa Bay.
Right.
Yeah, let me throw Tarik Cohen in my lineup. He's so up and down, and you gotta, if I start him every week, then I'm just gonna have to deal with the bad games with the good games. Where Dalvin Cook, I know if he's healthy, he's gonna get the workload and he's gonna have steady production throughout the year if he doesn't get hurt.
Right.
And then with Tarik Cohen as well, they brought in another running back. They brought in David Montgomery. That guy can catch more passes than Jordan Howard can. And they brought in a guy like Mike Davis, another guy who can catch. I'm not saying that Tarik Cohen's. I think he's a better weapon than those two guys, but it's just in terms of total, market share, just little bits that can be taken away. And I think that Dalvin Cook, represents just a higher upside in the second round. Whereas, yeah, Tarik Cohen's his fantasy finish will probably be pretty good. He's probably a lock for at least, a top 15 running back. Maybe top, as an RB2, probably as as a floor. But projecting him on a week-to-week basis is going to be kind of all over the place because he's not going to get a mass amount of work. He's going to get limited touches. He does a lot with them. And then back on the Cook side, we saw last year at the end of the year when Stefanski took over as the OC, and they were averaging only almost 28 rushing attempts per game. They wanted to run the ball, and Cook was averaging 15 touches per game, under DiFilippo, and then he was averaging 18 touches per game with Stefanski. So I'm going to take the upside with a guy that, at the end of the day, Dalvin Cook can be on, a league-winning team.
My new goal for you for this podcast _ is every single breakdown you need to talk. You need to say the letters OC. You are 2 for 2 so far. I am loving that. But I'm gonna be on your team with this one. I'm gonna go Cook, and that shows how much I like Cook this year because I sort of want to get my hands on Cohen as many leagues as possible. But I'm with _ it's the consistency thing. And we saw Cook. He got back to flashing what he can be once he was able to shake those injuries. And got a little bit of improved offensive line. You got the whole off season to get a little bit more stronger and not to battle that injury. I'd be all about grabbing the best available running back or wide receiver end of round 1 and coming back with Cook early round 2. I'd be all about that. You got no more Latavius Murray stealing that goal line work. Vikings are going to be, in my opinion, I'm going to defer on I'm going to have a difference with DJ here because I think they're going to be more competent and more complete on offense this year in year 2 with Cousins. Dude, Cook has legit RB1 potential, whereas I just don't like Cohen being consistent enough to be able to finish as an RB1. So I'm going to go with that weekly thing. How do you know when to use him? Just like _ did. So we got you 2-1 on this one, DJ.
I mean, that's fine. I like being right all the time. So
yeah, DJ, if you know when Tarik Cohen's going to go off, man, then yeah, take Cohen.
Here's the big difference is if you're talking, it depends on the league as well. PPR, his floor is much higher because of the balls that he catches. If you're talking standard scoring league, then yeah, I guess there's that question about a week to week what he's going to put together week to week. I just think it's going to be more consistent this year. It's just he's got another year. You're bringing in 2 guys who haven't been there behind him, and he's got another year under Matt Nagy. And like I said, Trubisky's going to get the ball off to him as fast as he can, just because he stinks.
We can all agree on that, right?
Well, DJ, you like being right, so let's see if you can be right in the second round of the spelling bee. Are you ready for this one?
Yeah, let's go. All
right, second round category is former NFL players. DJ. Your word is Edgerrin, as in Edgerrin James, former Colts running back. I will use it in a sentence for you. The Colts had a big 3 of their own back in the day, including Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, and Marvin Harrison. Little did we know, Marvin Harrison is a crazy motherfucker that several believe have killed people or have had people killed. I can't believe this story has been swept under the rug like it has, but it's likely because everyone is scared to talk about it in fear of getting killed by Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison's a fucking gangster. All right, so Edgerrin. That's a throwback name. That's exciting to hear.
Yeah.
It's like fucking like Natron memes or something.
Yeah.
All right, Edgerrin. EDGERRIN.
If you remember right, second round is worth 10 points. DJ just got himself 10 points.
Go.
Good work on that one. I like the Natron memes goal there. Maybe I should have underscore spelled Natron, but I won't. I've got a different word under the category of former players for you underscore. Are you ready?
Let's bring it.
Your word is Hernandez, as in Aaron Hernandez, the former Patriots tight end. I'll use it in a sentence for you in case you want to hear it again. Too bad former Patriots tight end Aaron Hernandez isn't still around. I'm sure he wouldn't be scared to confront Marvin Harrison.
All right, Hernandez. HERNANDEZ.
We have a tie game. It is 15-15 after the second round. Congratulations to both of you. I think I might be winning so far as the host, but that's just for me. Anyway, round 3 of the ADP game. We've got Leonard Fournette going as the first pick in the 3rd round, or Rashad Penny going as the first pick in the 7th round. We'll go back to underscore leading it off.
Yeah, this was probably one of the tougher ones when I was trying to kind of go between, all the running backs that you kind of listed out prior to the show. And originally I was leaning towards Penny, but then I actually ended up pivoting to Leonard Fournette. And the reason was I did actually a lot of research on Fournette specifically, and I think that we could see a lot more from him because he doesn't have Blake Bortles as quarterback anymore. I think that having Nick Foles is going to make a larger difference, and my reasoning behind that is, so I did a lot of research in terms of next-gen stats, the things that they highlight from NFL.com. And in 2018, Leonard Fournette saw 35% of his carries with 8 men in the box.
His exit velocity from leaving because of injuries was off the charts, too.
Yeah, that was. But when he was on the field, he produced. Like, that's a fact.
Right.
He was,
oh, yeah.
Per game basis, he was RB12. Better than Philip Lindsay, better than Marlon Mack, better than Aaron Jones. All guys that also missed time because of injuries. But he was, third in the NFL, in terms of facing 8 men in the box behind LeGarrette Blount and Royce Freeman. And in 2017, when Fournette, had probably his best season in the NFL, or the season before, he saw stack boxes on 48% of his rushing attempts. So that's really kind of puts more context behind his 3.7 yards per carry as his career average. Because he faces a lot of guys in the box.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at Nick Foles, over Nick Foles' career, running backs, that have ran with Nick Foles under center, essentially, have just seen 19% of the time 8+ men in the box. So Nick Foles, just from being just that more of a comparable quarterback, can just, provide a little bit more, get the ball down the field a little bit better than a guy like Blake Bortles. And they have some receivers that can obviously, get the ball down the field, with Keelan Cole, with DJ Chark, not like your mainstay guys, but guys, hey, he can go deep. They have to at least somewhat respect the deep game. They can't just put 8 guys in the box. Or else Nick Foles, he can sling it. I saw him do it against Patriots. It sucked, but he can do it.
Right. It's just crazy too.
And that's the thing. So the biggest thing obviously is his injury, but that's technically in his ADP. So last year, Leonard Fournette was a first-round pick, and now he's a 3rd-round pick because you're garnering his, he might get hurt. He's going to get injured. Okay, well, that's a 2-round discount because if he plays all his games, he's going to be an RB1. If he plays 13 games,
round 1 value.
RB1.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of if he'll get hurt or not. And then you're comparing that to Penny, who it's okay, well, Chris Carson just has to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So in either scenario, you're kind of just playing, he's either Leonard Fournette gets hurt, and then, he busts. Or I need to wait for Chris Carson to get hurt, or Penny's not going to literally do anything for me.
Yeah.
So I kind of weighed it in that perspective. And don't get me wrong, I think Penny is a better running back than Carson. I think that he'll overtake Carson, but it might take, whenever Carson gets hurt. So whether that's week 8, week 10, we don't know when that's going to happen. And I guess I'm more confident in the fact that if Fournette plays, he's an RB1.
Right.
As opposed to Carson, I got to wait for him to get hurt for Penny to, evolve and hope that he can be an RB1.
Right. DJ, how you got on this one?
Why don't you go ahead, Ben? You're always going last.
You say it in the title. I always finish last. All right, I will. I'll bring it up here. I got a little Rashad Penny here, and this one hurts. This one really hurts me because it's basically a big slap in the face to myself. Because I was taking Fournette, like Andrew said, I was taking him like pick 5, pick 6 last year, and I loved it. I was all about getting him. And now he's going in the first part of the 3rd round, and I'm saying that I'd rather take a guy who had 400 yards and 2 touchdowns last year and as a backup. Like, it just doesn't seem right, but I'm doing it. And I think I like Penny a little bit more here because I think Seattle is going to finish near the top of the league when it comes to rushing attempts. And I think they're going to work in Penny. I agree with what you said. Like, if Carson gets hurt, that's the ideal situation for Penny. But I think they're going to find room for both of them, especially in year 2. He's got an offseason of NFL work here. They're going to try to showcase him. I mean, they used a first-round pick on him. In Seattle now, Mike Davis out of the picture. So it's really Penny and Carson. I think there's going to be plenty of carries to go around, making Penny usable more weeks than what he definitely was last year, which I'm fine with as a 7th rounder. And the Fournette side, he's just that. I think what's happening here is he was that fantasy player that burned me, and now I just need I need him to prove it because it burned me, it hurt my feelings, and I'm just down on him. So it's almost like that. Like, if I wouldn't have had him last year, I'd be more likely to try to experiment with him this year. I like both of them. I like what Andrew said about you're getting in the 3rd round, you're getting a potential 1st round running back. But I was burned. I just don't want to. I want to be healed before I get burned again. So I got to go Penny.
Yeah, so I am actually going to be on underscore side here. I'm going to stick with Fournette for one more year because, like he said, if he can stay healthy, you're looking at a guy with 1st round value.
Right.
He's going to continue to get every fucking carry at the 1 yard line. But I know you talked a lot about next gen stats and the stacked boxes. I don't even think that's a big deal for him. I think the bigger deal was their entire left side of their offensive line was decimated last year. They're returning all those guys, plus they added Jawan Taylor. Who I assume is going to go to right tackle. So if those guys can stay healthy, he should return to the dominance he was in 2017. Doug Marone's still the head coach, so they're going to fucking just run it.
Yeah.
That's what they do. That's what he does. He goes run it. And I do like Penny's value, but I'm in love with the guy who could easily be a top 7 running back as long as he stays healthy.
Right. Andrew, also, by the way, you failed to say OC in your last breakdown, so that's going to be that will reflect in your spelling bee grade. By the way, I might take a point away. But speaking of the spelling bee, it's time for the 3rd round. DJ, 3rd round. This might be my favorite round, by the way. This is a good round. 3rd round is category of current players. DJ, your word is Aguilar, as in Nelson Aguilar, current Eagles wide receiver. I will use it in a sentence for you. Listen closely, Andrew, even though it's not your word. No longer catching passes from Nick Foles, Nelson Aguilar will now be catching passes from Carson Wentz. Coincidentally, the names Nelson and Carson were voted 2nd and 3rd on the list of boys' names who are most likely to have to wait longest to lose their virginity. Topping this list of boys' names was Andrew.
Wow. Classic. I like that. How did you find that research?
I'm gonna keep that one. I'm gonna keep that one confidential.
All right. Aguilar. I don't like the way you pronounce it.
I don't pronounce it well.
No. Aguilar. Aguilor.
The 3rd round is worth 15 points, and DJ just found himself the 15 more points. I wish we could clap and make it like an audience is cheering, because it's just not as good on a podcast. But I'm hoping that everyone at home listening is can you just imagine someone listening in their cubicle at work and they're just clapping? Be fantastic.
They're pumped up.
Yeah, they're either pumped up. They're like, shit, I spelled that wrong in my head.
That was wrong.
Fucking throwing shit around the office.
Oh, this is a good one. Underscore, are you ready?
Oh, yes. As long as it's not TJ Hushmanzada.
That was actually, in case you missed the episode last year, I highly recommend going back and listening to it. That was our last word last year, and neither of them got it right.
Yeah.
All right, this one's going to take me a while, so bear with me. Underscore, your word is Olivier, as in Olivier Vernon, current Browns defensive end. I will use it in a sentence. It's more of a paragraph than a sentence. Olivier Vernon is one of the many pieces the Browns added this offseason, as they are now the betting favorite to win the AFC North for the first time in over a decade. Former Browns player Jordan Poyer is married to Rachel Bush, who I wish would respond back to the letters I've been writing. I sent 2 letters back in autumn. She must not have got them. There probably was a problem at the post office or something. Sometimes I scribble addresses too sloppy when I jot them. But anyways, fuck it. What's been up, man? How's your daughter? My girlfriend's pregnant too. I'm about to be a father. If I have a daughter, guess what I'm going to call her? I'm going to name her Bonnie.
Nice. Underscore doesn't understand any of that, I don't think.
No, I'm trying to remember how to spell this guy's name.
You're trying to remember whose name I said.
Olivier Vernon. I feel like his name is like spelled like another. I feel like it has just like a weird pronunciation. All right, I'm just gonna go with it.
He's winging it.
Olivier, Olivier, Olivier.
I wish I had a buzzer because I could. For the first time, we got one wrong. I am so sorry.
Is it spelled like Oliver?
It's
Kind
like
of.
it's Olivier. Yeah, man.
Another I.
It's all right. It's all right. It's you'll learn Garoppolo. You'll learn Olivier. It's just gonna take next year. Next year, you're gonna like start studying how to spell people's names and random shit.
Well, he's a defensive player. That's why I can't do defensive players.
Underscore is a fantasy guy. There's no defense in
Fantasy guy
football.
doesn't give a fuck about defensive players.
Going into the last round, we've got some more running backs to talk about, but score update wise, DJ has 30 and Underscore has 15. So we'll get back to the game. Let's get back to round 3 of the running back ADP game. And it's Aaron Jones, who's going as the 9th pick in the 3rd round, or Tevin Coleman, the 2nd pick in the 6th round. DJ, you can lead this one off.
I mean, it's like, I don't even know why you ask these questions to me. It's Aaron Jones for me, obviously. There's another guy who's getting drafted late, and I think he will be a first-round value. I'm getting ahead of the curve on this guy because next year he's going to be so good that people are going to draft him in like the top 6. Look that. So I'm going to get him now before he gets, obviously, the first round in 2020.
Before next year's redraft league.
Before next year's redraft league. Also, I just have no idea what the Niners plan to do in their backfield with Coleman and McKinnon. So with that, just like with like how questionable it is, we have literally no idea what's going to happen there.
Right.
Coleman's ADP is exactly where I think it should be, so that's why he doesn't kind of shoot up my number. But I could see Coleman and Jerick McKinnon like finishing like right next to each other. I don't know.
Yeah. Underscore, where do you land on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I did like a dynasty trade where basically I traded Tevin Coleman to get Aaron Jones.
Well, there's
so
your answer.
it's like Aaron Jones is just better. like I don't get like why you would take even Tevin Coleman with like getting him later. It's like what's your advantage? Okay, now you're just gonna have a guy that like you can kind of use sometimes. Like you're not really sure. Like they have like 12,000 running backs in San Francisco and they're all injured. Like DJ said, like I don't know how they're gonna deploy them. I would say like Tevin Coleman's probably the best running back on that team, but like. They do a lot of different things, and I mean, I'll take a guy with Aaron Rodgers as opposed to Jimmy. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo's not exactly proven himself. Like the dude he's played. I think he's played like less games than like Sam Darnold and like those guys. Like those guys,
probably a fact.
Not started that many games.
Yeah,
because he's always been hurt, and it's like okay, like this is kind of his like make or break year. Like whereas Aaron Rodgers like looks like he's gonna like friggin' kill somebody this year with. I think that he's going to just blow up this season. I think that's going to help Aaron Jones. So I think that this one's easy.
And we won't have to worry about Aaron Rodgers getting a DUI because we just recently found out he doesn't like beer. Looking at you, DJ.
That's just Aaron Rodgers playing games. Like he wasn't seriously trying to chug the beer. He was just fucking with everybody. Everybody takes it so seriously. Like he trolls people so well that you guys are too stupid to realize he's doing it. That's how good he is.
I knew you'd run to his fucking defense. I had to just jab that in there. I'm sorry.
100%.
All right, so I am going to be on your guys' side with this one, but I'm not quite as sold as the two of you. It seemed like a slam dunk for both of you. It's more of like a finger roll for me. But I love the fact that Tevin Coleman's back with Kyle Shanahan. Plus, McKinnon, I've been reading some stuff on him. He's not quite back to 100%. So I think Coleman's kind of going to give that, he's going to get that first shot to really make the job his and be that featured guy. So I like that. But yeah, man, I'm drinking DJ's Kool-Aid on this one. I think I'm going to go with Jones. A late third rounder is not a bad spot since he's going to be that team's lead back. We know that. The offense should look fairly different now with McCarthy gone. I was saying it a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, I think Rodgers is really going to put his stamp on this. And he actually came out and said, like, hey, I'm going to have some freedom to make this offense mine. So I love that. Late third, you're not likely going to have to rely on him to be your RB1. And there's people out there, I'm looking at one of them, his name is DJ, that believes Aaron Jones has RB1 potential. So give me Jones, give me that upside, despite how much I wouldn't mind having Tevin Coleman. But yeah, I'm with you guys on this one.
You know what the worst thing is? Like, I don't know if you know Andrew, but we're both from Wisconsin. There's like zero chance either one of us would end up with Aaron Jones on our team. Because what do you think his ADP will be in the state of Wisconsin?
That's true. We should range it by state.
It's like 1.10, I bet. I could see him going like at the end of the first round in all of our drafts. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not exaggerating.
That does actually play a role. Like if you're in a league that's just like your boys and you're in the same state and you all have the same people, like I don't know. I never end up with Packers on my teams, despite the fact that they've been a great offense my entire fantasy playing life. I never get them.
Neither do I. I don't either. Like, I had to reach, actually, last year I did. I got Devontae Adams at the end of the first round.
Yeah.
Best thing I've ever done, by the way.
Yeah.
But besides that, I just couldn't, like, I've never ended up with Packers in the state.
Right.
It's wild.
I'm going to save the final round because I have a couple more running back debates here. So we'll get back to the spelling bee, but let's jump into this next running back. And it's a pair of teammates, actually. We're going to have underscore lead this one off. It's the Denver duo, Phillip Lindsay going as the second pick in the fourth round, or Royce Freeman, the ninth pick in the eighth round.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy for me, and it's Royce Freeman. I don't buy into Phillip Lindsay. It was a great story last year, and he kind of came out of nowhere, and it was too good to be true. In a lot of cases, when it's too good to be true, that was exactly it. Like, it's not something that I see him repeating. 5.4 yards per carry. That just stands out as someone that's going to regress. Like, we see it with guys like Kamara. When he was 6 yards per carry,
right,
and then he went down to 4. Like, it's just going to happen. Like, no one can sustain rushing at that high of a level of 5.4. And technically right now he's still injured. He has a wrist injury.
Yeah.
And we saw David Johnson miss an entire season because of wrist injury, and it looks like he's going to miss. He's not at OTAs. And, he's supposed to be back for training camp, but, it's a new offensive system, a new OC.
Yeah.
Rich Scangarello. Hopefully that's not on the spelling bee.
It is now.
Scangarello, he has a run zone blocking scheme, which is exactly what Royce Freeman ran behind at Oregon when he rushed for, like, whatever, how many yards he rushed for. It was, like, over 4,000 or something. And I just think that they're going to get equal opportunity, and I think that Royce Freeman was a third-round pick for a reason last year. I think that he has a better shot. And even when Freeman got opportunities last year, he was effective as a runner. And one of the stats from Pro Football Focus that really highlighted how effective he was he rushed for 30 first downs. And that was the highest of any running back with just 130 carries. So, when they gave him the ball, it was first down. And that's what gets guys on the field, like, rushing for first downs. Like, that's a very a trait that you want out of your running back. Like, you don't need to necessarily rush for a touch. You don't need to be super explosive. You don't necessarily need to rush for a touchdown every single time. Just being efficient and be like, all right, 10 yards, like, first down, like, there you go, like, give him the ball. Right. And I think that Lindsay really more or less profiles more as a pass catching back. And we even saw last year, when Lindsay missed the final week of the season, Royce Freeman actually had a 3-down roll, and that really surprised me. I was like, wow, he was catching passes, in that final week, even with Devontae Booker kind of still, trudging along. So, I hope they just get rid of Booker and it becomes a two-man backfield with Freeman and Lindsay. But yeah, I'm going to take Freeman. I do not believe in Lindsay whatsoever. So in the third round, like, I'm not buying Lindsay at all, and I'll take Freeman. For sure.
I'm going to tease my answer because I'm all about Phillip Lindsay, so that's an eye-opener. I'm glad that you gave a little bit of perspective there. But DJ, where do you feel on this one?
See, for me, this was like the hardest one, and I said, it's going to be a short summary for me. I said I'll go Freeman because I could see this being more even than people think. I could expect them to. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see them around again. See those two around like the same area when it comes to the end of the year and fantasy points. But I mean, the one thing that really kills me with Philip Lindsay is last year I had a huge problem. I can't remember whether it was like his haircut or his like face. I couldn't like. He was like he did. He was like. And I saw him in an interview and I was a fan of Lindsay because he's like 5'7", like jack little guy who ran well. So like I had like this little man like thing syndrome going with him. But then I saw his fucking face time or haircut, and I got so angry, and like I can't be on his side for anything anymore.
DJ doesn't have like injury grudges; he has appearance grudges.
Yeah,
He's so superficial.
Like a idiot.
Well, I'm gonna take that circus clown. I'm taking Philip Lindsay here. I'm actually surprised his ADP wasn't higher right now. I thought he'd be like a locked in for a third rounder. So I like early fourth round for him. I guess we just don't know at this point how much Freeman will cut into that carry. Based on just their rookie year, from the games I watched, it looked like Lindsay was the better running back. But man, what scares me is the fact that Denver actually has like that legit draft capital invested in Freeman. So they're going to want to try to give him a shot. They're going to give him carries. And like you said, if they go to that zone block running scheme, bam, that's his wheelhouse. That's what they're going to do. But last year, so look at Lindsay last year. 62 more carries, about 500 more yards, 5 more total touchdowns. Lindsay also caught 21 more passes, and he actually only appeared in one more game than Royce Freeman. So I like Lindsay this year. I actually just made a move for him in a dynasty league. I'm hoping that Andrew underscore is wrong on this one. I hope I didn't invest in something bad here. It's just a one-year wonder. But what gets me about Lindsay is like he had that year, and I agree. He's not going to hit 5.4 yards per carry, but that's fine. He doesn't need to do that. I think the production's there. He is that guy, though, that he has that chip on his shoulder, like just being the unexpected guy. He wasn't the guy they drafted in the 5th round or 4th round, wherever Freeman was taken. He has to go out there and prove himself. Like there was that story about him living with his parents still. Like he's like trying to be like smart about this. And I know that at the end of the day that the talent is going to take over, but he's just got that like within him, like he needs to succeed. So I just like that player with a little bit of like chip on his shoulder. So I'm higher on Lindsay than apparently both of you. And I'm not saying Freeman's bad at that average draft position, 9th pick in the 8th round. That's probably good value. But between the two here, I'm going the other way. I'm taking Philip Lindsay. Someone? Anyone?
Congrats.
Yep, this is all yours.
All right, well, I'm going to be the only one that takes him. We have one more running back debate before we get to that final spelling bee. So let's go into this one. It's the new New York Jet Le'Veon Bell going as the 8th pick in the 1st round, or Kenyon Drake going as the 4th pick in the 5th round. DJ, go ahead and lead it off.
All right, so I'm going to say Drake just because a couple of reasons. He finished his RB14 last year under Adam Gase, who absolutely just fucking hated him.
Adam Gase hates running backs.
Like, old man Gore isn't there anymore, and hopefully Drake will become more of a focal point of this offense. I watched lots of tape of Kenyon Drake before the season last year, and this guy, like I said before last year, he's got more size than what I originally thought, and there's something there. His running style, his vision is excellent, and he's got good speed. Kalen Balazs just doesn't worry me. Maybe he does worry you a little bit. But let's don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Le'Veon Bell as well. This guy can do it all. So I would still be drafting personally. I would still draft him in like, I don't know, 3 to 5 range. If I have to pick between 3 and 8, I'd be drafting Le'Veon Bell because I know this narrative that him and Adam Gase and the whole like shit that's going on between them. And I know it's weird for me to say that, like I just talked about Power Hungry Gase killing Drake, and now I'm advocating for Bell with Adam Gase. It's kind of a weird dynamic.
That's why I paired these two.
But he's getting paid so much, and he's so good. This guy is not only a running back; he's a fucking wide receiver, and probably could be one of the best wide receivers in the league. Like he's so lethal, Le'Veon Bell. So I love him. But just based off of like the value you're getting, I still think Drake I assume Drake is gonna be used much better than last year, and he finishes RB14.
I'm glad that you re-said that at the end there, because for a while I'm not sure which side you were on. Like you were all about Drake, and then you were all about Bell. So it sounds like you're gonna take them both. Underscore, who do you like in this one?
Yeah, so this one like sucks to just do because it's like I can't even like talk about because I like both players, but it's literally like Adam Gase. It's like it's the issue. Like so like DJ said, like he literally like destroyed Kenyon Drake owners because just the way that he utilized him. And he's like, yeah, no, he's like good, like, but he's only getting like 5 touches a game. Like, we don't need to use him.
He was the Cohen. It's like, what week do you use him?
Yeah, and like he finished, I think it was like RB14, like when it was all said and done. But it was just like, yeah, but like I could never like use him because Adam Gase was like all over the place with him, and that's kind of how I see it here. Is like I'm gonna go with Drake because again like Le'Veon Bell, like he's an elite talent, but like we can really think about this, and it's like, do we really think that Adam Gase is going to do the right? Like, I just don't know if I believe in him really as like a head coach. Like he's been like on this wave since that Peyton Manning season, where oh my god, this guy's amazing, like he's great. But it's like, dude, like you literally have just underperformed, and basically you put up winning seasons with Miami because you've won a lot of like really close games, like, and he doesn't like. His offense ranks like always last in like plays per game, and like we know that running backs are tied to volume, and just less plays per game means less volume for the running back, and it just don't. It's just like there's a lot of reasons like going against like just being with Adam Gase, and just the fact that like hey, like the first report was like, yeah, we really didn't want Bell, we would prefer Tevin Coleman, but I guess like we could still like use like Le'Veon Bell, and it's just like. I'm trying to like look into the future a little bit, and like December, I'm like, do I really see like the headline of New York being like Le'Veon Bell, Gase, match made in heaven, Jets on the playoff run, or like Jets crash and burn, Gase and Bell, arguing, Bell suspended. Like, which one of those is like really more likely to happen? And I'm gonna go with the latter. So I'm going with Drake.
Dude, that was the gospel right there. Underscore. Like as a Dolphins fan, especially what you were saying about Drake and Gase, like that was poetic. I loved that. It's a clean sweep. I'm gonna go Drake as well. I wasn't even one of the people that got burned by drafting Bell last year when he didn't end up playing, but I still cannot. DJ's got his hand up for all the non-YouTube listeners. I can't take Le'Veon Bell in round 1, though. I'm sure he'll have a nice season, but man, I'm just not 100% sold on that Jets offense, their leadership, their management. This looks like an ideal situation to let someone else deal with. That's the strategy I'm going with the Jets and Le'Veon Bell this year. Drake in the 5th is fine. I'm not a huge fan of that value. I wouldn't mind him here, I guess, in a flex play. You're right, Gase is out of the picture. He maybe will see a little bit of increase in volume. Dolphins' offensive line still sort of scares me. The nice thing about Drake is he should continue to catch passes, produce as a receiver that way. Even if they can't get the run game going, I think he can still produce some actual numbers. The thing about Drake is so much unknown. He's never been featured. He's never been unleashed, showcased. Like that's never been a thing for him. So we don't really know what he has yet, if he can sustain it over an entire season. But man, if he is unleashed, if he performs well, you just got a steal in the 5th round that has like late RB1, early RB2 potential, and a guy that you don't need to rely on in your flex spot anymore, but you could feel comfortable with him as your second running back. So just based on that untapped potential of what could be and really avoiding that Jets Le'Veon Bell situation, I'm going to make it a clean sweep and go with Drake.
Beautiful.
Are you guys ready for the final round of the spelling bee? I've been thinking about how I want to do this. All right, so
wait, can I go first then? Because if DJ gets it, then I already lose.
So actually, this is going to be a little bit of a hybrid. I have this one doesn't have a category, so it's just a name. And since I don't have 2 of them, I lacked prep, and I only got 1 name here. So what I'm going to do is you guys are going to have to go back and forth with each letter, and whoever blows it is going to end up being the loser. So all those points that you guys accumulated, they're worth nothing now. It's all coming down to this.
I was keeping track of those numbers. I was writing them all down.
Yeah, I'm glad I was writing it down this whole time. All right, so final round. The word is... Where'd DJ go?
Well, fuck, if we're going to go back and forth, I got to write something down.
Good point.
I laugh. So obviously the audio only listeners have no idea what we're talking about, but I'm about to say the word and then DJ just left the entire screen. So he just quit. But here it is. The word is Tunga Viola.
What?
As in Tua Tunga Viola. I will use it in a sentence. I will be very shocked if either of you can spell Tua Tunga Viola. So with that, let's go first and last name, and we're gonna have DJ kick it off. So just do the letter, and then whoever blows it first is gonna be the loser.
We're going with Tua first.
Yep.
Okay, T.
Got it.
U.
Got
U.
it.
A.
Got it.
T.
Well, if we're not counting the space, then yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It should be Tua underscore Tunga Viola.
This work is questionable.
All right, so wait, Andrew just said the T, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so DJ, you're up.
U.
It's over. Underscore wins.
Is it an O?
You don't get multiple guesses here,
I was
and
just
no.
wondering.
Let me give you the correct spelling. You guys had the Tua, you had the space, you had the T. Tunga Viola, or Tunga Viola, another one that I'm struggling to even say, is spelled Tagavoailoa. So with that, Andrew, I have to anoint you the 2019 Loaded Box Podcast Spelling Bee champion. What do you have to say about your effort today?
I'm just saying that, thank God I didn't have to count that space because I had you queued up there as well. So really, really bailed me out there.
DJ, you got second place. How do you feel?
You may be the worst pronunciator of names of all time, and I want a new fucking host next year.
DJ's gonna what's the word I'm looking for? Want a review of this one.
Yeah, I want to appeal this.
Appeal, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm smarter than you.
Well, clearly you can't spell though.
I drink and I know things.
I love it, man. Andrew, who won last year? Do you even know?
I did.
Did you? So it's 1-1. So 2020 is going to be that rubber match. I'm looking forward to it already.
Wait,
Yeah.
does Andrew still not know your whole lyric from earlier?
I don't know. How do you feel about that one, Andrew?
Dude, what was that? What was what player was it?
The name was Olivier Vernon.
And he said he writes a bunch of letters to Rachel Bush, and then he went off on a long tangent. Do you not realize that was a whole song lyric?
Oh, no.
Oh,
I
man.
was trying to figure out how to spell his damn name.
Have you ever listened to Eminem?
Yeah.
You heard
I literally wasn't listening to the
you didn't hear any of it?
I was zoned in.
It was Stan. It was Stan by Eminem.
Yeah,
okay.
I could tell though. Andrew was trying to figure it out. He's like, God, it's. You were almost saying it. You were like, it's Olivier. Like you were saying it, but you just didn't have faith in it.
Well, I was going back to my elementary school routes, or roots
Sound
or
it
whatever,
out.
and also you keep talking about all right, sound it out.
I love it. Well, thanks again for playing. I would consider that a success, regardless. You had a nice come from behind victory, kind of by default. If I'd have started with you leading it off, it might have been a whole different game. But congrats. I'm proud of you. Looking forward to doing it again next year. But before we leave, why don't you go ahead and tell the people where they can find your work?
Yeah, again, so I'm on Twitter at Andrew Erickson _. The underscore is important, and I'm the host of the underscore podcast. You can find my work on gridironexperts.com and fantasydata.com.
DJ, besides making sure that we get our 50% cut from underscores or anything else you would like to add today?
Nope.
Fair enough. As always, check us out on Twitter at LoadedBox. Check out the website, blogs, fantasy rankings, podcasts, everything that you would ever want in a website, loadedboxpodcast.com. Next episode, we'll be doing the same thing, but the wide receiver version without the spelling bee because we save that specifically for underscore every year. We're available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube. Subscribe, rate, and review. DJ, send us away.
Bye.